Hey everybody, welcome, welcome. I am on time. I am on time for once. For once, give me some credit. Welcome everybody, welcome, welcome. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Oh, the hair's crazy. Welcome. Hey everybody. I see people coming through, so we have a huge a lot of things to get through. So I'm waiting for people to get in here. Welcome everybody. Hey, hey. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I don't see the chat moving. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't see the chat moving. Welcome. Hope you guys are staying warm. If depending on what side of the world you're at, I know the temperature's changing. The chat is not moving. Is there something going on? Put it one in the chat. If you guys see me, you hear me, but the chat's not moving. It's not moving on YouTube. Okay, it's finally moving on StreamYard. There's something going on. I don't know. Hey, Belen. Hey, Pinche Becky. Okay, shout out to the members. Oh, all right, good. Now the ones are coming through. I'm like, what is going on? Oh my God, this water's cold. Good morning, everybody. I haven't even had my coffee yet. I have my coffee here. I just haven't had the first drink. We're here and we're here. Okay, good, minds, y'all. Thank you. Y'all hit the like button, please, and thank you. Let's get out in the algorithm, please, and thank you. It is free to support by hitting the like button. Just want to make sure there's something going on. It's kind of acting a little bit wonky uh on the StreamYard, like it just stopped right now. But I see the YouTube chat moving. We'll give it a couple minutes. Hey, everybody. We have so much to review today. Okay. Hey, Bali. How are you? Gold Digger, Mags, Natasha, Rachel, Tequila. Welcome. Venus Blue. How are you? Pinche Becky Rhiannon. Who else? Who else? Who else? Mine's y'all. Bratty Moon. Everybody come through. Suyo. Oh, did it just get dark on this side? It looks like. Okay, Belen, everybody come through. All right, Nebby. Yeah, there's something going on with I don't know. It's nice and rainy in Arizona. You're lucky. It's a little cold where I'm at right now. Kiss a mooch, how are you? Shout out to everybody. I did say your name, y'all. Sometimes the chat just goes, and I don't always say everybody's name correctly. So please don't get mad at me if I don't say your name correctly. You even have a space heater on. I used to have one of those all the time. Yeah. Mama Impact Jenny G. Pippi Longstockings is here in Sin. Every time I have some time to say hello, I'll say hello to the chat. Hey everybody. Okay, Sarah says it's hot in Louisiana. It's like sticky in Louisiana too, isn't it? It's freezing. Oh my God, in West Virginia, Lord. Wet snow. I can't do that. I want the 80-degree weather. That's what I want. That's what I want. All right, all right, all right. Okay, we're waiting for people to get in here. Hopefully I don't even know if notifications went out. Welcome. Texas is hot too. It can be humid. I like the hot and the humid. I do. My nose does get dry and I hate that. I'll probably say that, but yeah. So you got a plushy onesie on, nice warm weather, cozy. Ooh. That's nice. Y'all, so I got to tell you guys something. While we wait for people to get in here, we can get started actually, because it's going to start us off on the first thing that I'm about to tell you. So I had posted on my community wall about 2 weeks ago. Wait, before I get started, number one, let me just say, Nate the lawyer, shout out to him. I saw on Twitter, which is amazing. It's brought a lot of people, really, really praying for Nate the lawyer. It looks like the surgery went very well. Shout out to Nate the lawyer. I'm glad to hear that. He's in recovery now, so I'm glad to hear that. Okay, make sure you guys check him out. Nate the lawyer, really awesome YouTuber, breaks down the law. I've used his commentary so many times. I remember he came to my chat one time. I was so excited. He's probably like out of everybody on LawTube, and I have more people that I like on LawTube, but he's probably one of the ones that like doesn't act like a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like he gives lawyerly commentary, but he's like more down to earth to me. So I like him. Okay. So let me tell you what's going on, y'all. So I told you guys a couple weeks ago that I wanted to do a parody. Okay. And or that some parodies were gonna be coming. So I got a couple of now I didn't buy them. Well, I did, but they're not like really expensive pieces, right? Little hair clips and pieces of somebody that I want to do a parody on. And I've been taking my time really studying it up. Now, this person is somebody who's really hurt a lot of people in the community, like a lot of people in the community, who's currently facing 14 felonies. I gotta hide the purple. She's facing 14 felonies. Apparently, yesterday she had a hearing. I think it's like a prelim hearing. And her lawyer, she doesn't have a lawyer anymore. Okay. And she's facing 14 felonies related to a pregnancy twin scam. All right. With multiple men in Arizona. She's going to trial, y'all. She's going to trial. And now she's claiming to be indigent. Right? She's like, I'm indigent. I can't afford lawyers. I cannot afford lawyers, y'all. I told you I'm working, and I've been studying this lady for quite some time. Now, where is the... See, I can't do hair pieces. I can't. Hold up. Anyways, the clip fell on this one. Damn it. I'm going to have to figure it out later. So, I think I could really pull it off on this lady. I really, really think I can. Let me tell you why. See, I got to hide the purple. I'm going to have to order another one. I'm also ordering a Karen wig. I am. It's on my Amazon order list. It really is. She's like, oh boy. Yo, the chat's like, y'all are too much. We will get started, I promise. The woman that I want to parody is this lady that I've talked about here. And I've been studying her for quite some time. I really think that I can channel my inner Laura Owens. I really think I can. I even got me my Lancome Juicy Tubes to parody some of that right there. Bring her to life. Now, she definitely overdid that, so I'm going to definitely overdo that. Yeah. Oh, look at all that residue. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, look at that. And I just bought this too. Lancome. This isn't cute. I think I could do it. I'm going to have to get rid of the wing. I'm going to have to darken. Oh, my God. Look at my mouth, y'all. I'm going to have to darken my eyebrows. Which is crazy because I don't typically need to. I'm looking at her face, her foundation. I've seen a couple videos. I really, really do think I can parody this lady. Yeah. Hide my purple hair. She's got a very specific look. See if I can do a smile. Wait, hold up. Take away the wings a little bit. That could be me right there. Shiny, juicy too. It has to be very shiny. But yeah, just so y'all know. Anyways, so while she's on my thumbnail, I am working on some parodies. Stand by. Now, how do you parody? Lord have mercy, this shit is like all over my mouth, y'all. Give me 1 second. I don't know how people overdo it with this stuff. This is too much. I'm like, literally, it's like chunks in my mouth. How do you parody somebody who's hurt so many people, right? It's kind of the whole point, right? It's parody somebody who can who's hurt a lot of people. So she's on my radar, and I have been working on a pre-recorded. Y'all are gonna love it, okay? But please note that I'm doing it out of like the fact that this woman has brought a lot of pain to a lot of people, and with that, I found areas, and even though, and let's be very real, I don't believe that she's very well, but Some of it is very manipulative. Some of it is very intentional. Some of it is just that. And so I think it's important to expose some of that. And sometimes with that, there's a bit of laughter. So the rabbit is going to become Laura Owens at some point. It's going to be a pre-record. I'm going to do my makeup exactly like her. I really think I could pull it off. I have been studying her facial features, her acting a rat. I've been doing it all. I really have it. It's been taking me a minute, but y'all going to see and you'll be like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyways, so Laura Owens, for those that are like, who the hell is this lady? Yeah, she's the lady who several male victims, the biggest one I think, and where it just stopped and she was full stop exposed was with the Bachelor, Clayton Ecker. So she basically fabricated being pregnant with twins on multiple occasions, filed false, fake, phony restraining orders, doctored up documents about being pregnant, sonograms. She did the whole nine to keep these men, and it's men because it's more than one. She has a track record since like 2014, right? So we've been talking a little bit about her. We reviewed her body cam footage. The lady can't afford a lawyer, but she is still doing like equine, horse, what is it, equestrian, I think that's what it's called, the horse jumping. She's still able to afford all of that, which, by the way, all of that hobby is in the thousands. Okay, it's a very expensive thing to kind of do and whatnot. And I believe that her elderly parents are having to even file for bankruptcy and whatnot to basically help her, to enable her. That's what they've done. Yeah, that horse stuff is not, it's not cheap, right? So I've talked about her before, but I've been planning it and I've been studying. So keep an eye out. You're gonna see a Laura Owens video coming up pretty soon where I am Laura Owens. I'm gonna channel that. I really am. I think I could do it. I think I got the I got to get more makeup. I got to work on my hair clips. Clearly, y'all know I don't do the hair clips, but I'm gonna get rid of the purple, work on the hair clip, okay? And you gonna see no wing, completely maked up, all that pink stuff right there. You're gonna see it, right? Just wait, it'll be a surprise. You can't wait. Horses aren't cheap. Oh, I'm gonna get the crazy eyes, y'all. You know, right? But don't worry, I'm gonna get the crazy eyes. I'm gonna get the crazy. Of course, I gotta get rid of the wings, but I wasn't really ready for that. You'll see. You'll be ready for it. Okay, just keep an eye out. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Yes, she chose the wrong man this time. Yes, she did. She sure did. You can't wait to see it. So, anyways, she had a hearing yesterday, and basically, she doesn't have a lawyer, y'all. Like, I guess she doesn't have a lawyer anymore. I don't know. I guess it sounds like the lawyer's just kind of like quit on her. I'm not really sure, which I was like, it can't be the same lawyer, because I think the lawyer, the one that she was using, was his name Dave Greengus. He's kind of like a ride and die for her and whatnot. But she appeared at court 2 days ago. 2 days ago. Here it is. All
right. This is CR 2025-006-831, State versus Laura Owens. Time set for a complex case management conference. Kind of appearances, please.
Thank you. So David didn't quit. It was her criminal lawyer quit, not the civil one. Now, why did the criminal lawyer quit? He was like, "Oh hell no, I didn't. No. She might get pregnant if I work with her." It's not good. Erica P, thank you. I was like, they can't be that guy that's been like working with her for so many years and enabling her behavior.
Berlin on behalf of Ed Leiter for the state, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sandra Schutz with Cold Root Law Offices on behalf of Laura Michelle Owens. She's out of custody and present, standing to my left.
All right. Ma'am, can I get your name and date of birth, please?
Laura Owens, 5/14/1990.
Okay, thanks. I did get the complex case management report. Then I also got Ms. Schutz's motion to withdraw. Ms. Owens, I know you wanted to appear here virtually, but now that the council issue came up, need you here in person to figure out what we're going to do moving forward.
I believe she had submitted something to appear on Zoom because of people harassing and stalking her. That's what she claims.
So what I'm going to do is I will grant that motion to withdraw. Ms. Owens, was your intention to hire another attorney, or how did you want to proceed?
Your Honor, I'm going to need to have a public defender.
Okay, so I did.
She's indigent, and yet she can afford the horseback riding lessons. That's not. She also has to pay, I believe, to even like compete and whatnot. So she can fork out a lot of money, and yet you are indigent. So tell me, so nobody better see her in no horseback riding, jumping competition or anything like that. Because let me tell you, a lot of people that need these lawyers, that are filing and submitting their applications, they're not horseback riding. No, they're not.
Review a previously submitted financial affidavit and reviewed my previous determination regarding indigency, regarding appointments of experts. I'm just going to affirm that finding. I'm going to appoint the Office of Public Defense Services to represent Ms. Owens.
Wow.
Ms. Schutz, you're going to be relieved of any further obligations in this matter. What I'll do we have a availability next week for a status conference?
Where's the article for your week?
Oh, that is Thanksgiving. How about the following week?
December 2nd at 9:10.
All right, so Ms. Owens, there's a little bit of administrative delay between my appointment and when they actually assign a lawyer. I'm going to set a status conference for December 2nd at 9:10. By that time, that administrative proceeding should have occurred. You'll have your new lawyer. They should be here to meet with you on that date, and we can discuss our future dates moving forward. There is a chance, though, since whatever.
I think there's an application. Now, I know I don't believe she's ever been employed or has been employed or has been able to be employed other than being a podcaster, I think, and, doing fake TED Talks and, pretending that she's pregnant, filing fake court documents, asking, basically saying that you are the father Maury Povich situationship, but never really actually following through. So do I just tell the court that I'm indigent and then suddenly I get a lawyer? Because I thought literally you had to fill like a sliding scale type of form. I've seen those sliding scale forms, but I've never assets and stuff like I would think that there'd be something there, right? To figure out if you actually can or can't afford a lawyer. That's a great question. And then what if they find out that the lady she is a fraud, allegedly, when she's a fraud, okay? But what if they find out if oh girl, you just falsified these financial forms and you really can't afford a lawyer? I don't know. They have an application and look into all accounts. When do they do that though? Because when they appoint you a lawyer, it's right then and there, right? She has no income and parents are filing for bankruptcy. So she lives off of her parents, right? Because I think her dad was the one that was bringing in the wealth for the longest time. And their dad's we're broke. And now this is what's happening. And I mean, I'm sure they went broke having to, pay for all their lawyers. They have to fill an application with proof of income. Right then and there, though, Michelle, don't they have to go back and figure those out? See, they go by household income to determine if you can afford a lawyer. When I was 20, I went to jail and they denied me a lawyer because my mother income was high, even though I was broke. That's okay.
Lawyer gets appointed, may not be available that day. I might have to move that date slightly. So if you could give us your contact information, give that to my courtroom assistant. What we'll do is we will forward that to the attorney that is appointed to represent you, and also that way they can get in communication with you if you have to move that date. Got it? Okay, but December.
It's the fact that court-appointed lawyer, if you're pleading not guilty, whenever that is, all this is going to cost a lot of money. Please note that.
For 2nd at 9:00 is the date you need to be here in person.
Okay.
If you don't show up, a warrant could issue for your arrest. All right, I think that's pretty much all we can do today, given the status of her attorney. Thank you. We are in recess in this matter.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you.
There you go. Okay. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We will be expect a video on this. Welcome everybody. Welcome. And oh my goodness, James, Pinche Becky, Nabby, 15 memberships. James, thank you for gifting. Pinche Becky, shout out to you. Thank you for gifting. And Nabby, thank you for gifting. Y'all are amazing. Thank you guys. Y'all are amazing. Thank you guys for gifting. Okay. Really appreciate it. Y'all are amazing. You said those are not considered farm animals for tax purposes. Yes. Anything linked to their name, Cash App, accounts, and Venmo. Damn. She lives off of her parents. Her dad was, remember, her dad was famous San Francisco radio personality, and they're all in the process of filing for bankruptcy. Crow, Red Eye, that is what you call somebody like this woman lived off her parents. It looks like they always cater to her. They never, let her sit on her shit. No accountability for anything that she, does or doesn't do in her life. They're very protective. The day that I saw that body cam footage of her yelling at her mother, I literally said, what in the hell are you doing? Okay, because I am going to be 41 in about, my birthday's coming up. My birthday's coming up, right? I'm going to be 41 and I think she's like what, 30, 35? In my big age, I would never get in my mama's face and yell at her. What are they doing? Oh my God, they're taking everything away. Just because I got pregnant by the Bachelor. And it was a tostada that I ate. Anyways. Bitch, she would be like, sit down and get the handcuffs on right now. I would never. Okay. Moving on. So, again, she was in court. Shout out to Justice for Clayton. The page, the IG, and the Instagram. And of course, you guys check them out. This is going to be a very interesting case that I think everybody should be paying attention to, okay? Because again, this can happen. This situation can happen to many, many people that, you have people that try to, basically said, you got me pregnant. And it turns out you are not the father, Maury, you're not. And yes, that is what happened. Okay. I said, I'm peeking your mic. Oh, Lord have mercy. I bet. Okay. Well, I know it is. I told you I've been practicing. All right, moving on, y'all. I hate going to this case after talking about that. Transition, okay? Transition. We do have to get to more serious stuff because we got to talk about Karen Reed, a little bit of David, and this is going to be definitely a thing that this is going to go quick, okay? So yesterday we were talking about Anna Kepner, okay? The young girl, 18-year-old girl who was in the Carnival cruise ship and she was killed. It looks like at this point they are charging, or at least looking to charge, the stepbrother who is 16 years old, okay? People are digging, of course, into the family past, and I had no idea. People were dropping this in my chat too. I had no idea. Her dad is has a charge of sexual violence in his past. Put a 1 in the chat if you guys have been following this. This is her dad, right? Her mom spoke out yesterday. And I'm looking at her, and she, when she's younger, because she's got darker hair now, right? But this is definitely her when she was a lot younger. I have siblings that are her age, believe it or not, I do. My oldest is going to be 18 next year. So it's like I have siblings that are her age, and then I also have children that are her age. So it's really sad to see her family speaking out, at least some that were just taken back by this whole tragedy and what has happened and whatnot. So let's get into this, an interview that Bio Mom gave about her child.
Swanee River when she was, I think, almost three. And she went horseback riding for the first time. And the guy that was walking the horse said that she was acting as if a pro was riding the horse. Like she'd been out doing it her whole life. And it was the very first time she'd ever been on a horse.
She must have had a bunch of confidence.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. But yeah, she was a really good child. I mean, she never really complained about much. She never cried that much as a baby. And as a teenager, she was the same. She was just always happy anytime I'd see her and talk to her.
These pictures, I know these pictures. I've been looking at them for quite a bit of time now. I'm sure you've been kind of diving into these, kind of remembering when some of these were taken and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a lot.
Oh my God.
Any of these photos kind of stand out to you, make you remember specific moments or anything like that?
Well, all of them do actually, but let me see, the one with her, I believe, holding the baby, it's actually her youngest brother. Youngest brother is my youngest son. That weekend, that was the first time she got to see him after I had him, and she didn't want to put him down. She wanted to hold him the whole time she was there.
What an incredible big sister. You know, everyone looks up to your big sister, knowing she was that way from such a young age.
Yeah.
I'm a big sister, by the way. Shout out to the big sisters, y'all. Please note that the big sisters are the sisters or big brothers. We're typically the sibling that all the mistakes are done. They go through everything that the middle child doesn't get. So shout out to us, big siblings, big sisters, big brothers. She was the big sister.
These last couple weeks, have you been holding up okay? I know you've been at church. I'm sure leaning on faith, and the fellowship there has been super helpful for you.
Yeah, they have been. I'm trying to hold it together.
Oh my God.
I can only imagine what you're dealing with. I know church is a big deal for everybody. It's like an extended family. So having them with you has to be a great shoulder to lean on.
Yeah, it is.
Is there anything, I don't want to take you up too much of your time tonight, but is there anything you think
I'm not busy for the rest of the night.
Anything you think we're skipping over? I really just wanted to kind of highlight Anna and focus on some of your memories and how you've been holding up.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm holding up, I guess, as best as you can. Try not to fall apart. But yeah, no, she was just a great child. She was always happy. She loved. We had her in dance and cheerleading. Well, not cheerleading, but gymnastics and dance. And she was, I think, 3. That was when we first put her in that, and she's just loved it ever since.
She was going to go to the military, y'all. Like she was, oh man, like it's really sad to see this, right? Because it's like, we're hearing about this case and we're all wondering, well, what happened exactly? And it looks like, family members are speaking out. They're saying kind of where they're coming from with the situation. Oh, what happened? What made, the 16-year-old and then to hide her body in bed sheets under the bed of a cruise ship and then life jackets all over, and then nobody checks in or knows what's going on until the following day. And that's because the cleaning lady was the one who figured out what happened, found her body. This is so sad.
And she became a cheerleader in high school. And I think she did dance class in high school too, but I'm not positive on that one.
Okay. The thing that stands out to me on these photos is just, I think every single one that I've clicked through, she's got this massive smile on her face. Was she always trying to make people laugh and everything like that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she was. She didn't like it if people were upset. She kind of like takes after me on that one. But yeah, she was always trying to make everybody smile. She was always happy. An extremely happy child. I don't think she was ever really upset or depressed anytime I'd seen her.
She found the joy in everything.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, she did. Well, even when she'd make her post, if her boyfriend would break up or whatever, she still had to look at it. She always looked at it at the bright side, on the brighter side of it.
So she probably found the good.
She's gorgeous, y'all. Gorgeous.
And everybody and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, she did.
Wow. There's no sound from there. Her father, and I don't know what exactly happened. Let's be very clear. I found that information about the dad too on Abby Blabby's situation here. And I was trying to see the date of, now this is her bio dad, Christopher, sexual violence. And it sounds like this was in 2008. So I don't know, clearly it was many years ago that this happened. A lot of people were speculating that the uncle who made the post a couple days ago, blaming the stepbrother for her murder, Michael Donahue, isn't actually related and knows nothing. But check this out, Abby Blabby says. I was sent this court record screenshot by a woman named Vanessa Pasamic, who has been following the case very closely. You'll notice it from 2008. The petitioner was Christina Donahue, recognized last name on behalf of Tabitha Donahue. The respondent is Anna Kepner's father, Christopher. Apparently, Christopher had cheated on Anna's biological mother, Heather, with Tabitha, their 15-year-old babysitter. Hold on. Come again. What am I reading? Hold up. I'm gonna need Belen. I gotta find those glasses that you send me, love. You send me a whole bunch of them because I feel like I'm not reading this correctly. I was sent this court record screenshot by a woman named Vanessa Pasamanik, who has been following the case very closely. You'll notice it from 2008. The petitioner was Christina Donahue. Okay. Apparently, Christopher had cheated on Anna's biological mother, Heather, with Tabitha, their 15-year-old babysitter. You'll notice the court case is for sexual violence, but ended up getting dismissed. Tabitha ended up being Christopher's second wife. What? He is now married to Chantel, whose son Timothy is allegedly being investigated for Anna's murder. According to the uncle, he killed her, wrapped her naked, beaten body with a sheet, stuffed it under her bed, then covered her with a life jacket. He then allegedly slept in the bed like nothing had happened. According to sources, Timothy's Anna's biological brother, Connor, and Anna all shared a bedroom on the cruise. There was more than one person in that cruise. So the babysitter, who was 15 at the time, was with Anna's dad. Anna picked up a charge, but then the babysitter became the wife later on, so the charge winded up being dismissed. Y'all you can't make this up. Okay. There's a lot going on in that family, clearly, right? Which then makes me wonder, what happened exactly, and are the other kids safe? Honestly, at this point, this family tree, and listen, we all come from different family trees and whatnot. Please note that. No judgment. We all have, but most family trees and most families don't have, stepchildren that wind up, murmuring other children. That's the thing. It's like, it doesn't happen. You have a lot of blended families out there, and you just don't have things like that. You just don't. So I'm like, what? It is very sick. She should have not been sharing a cabin with her stepbrother, inappropriate, and not protecting your daughter. She's 18. So I don't know. I don't know if they did this out of like, it's going to cost less or whatnot. Listen, I've shared rooms with my siblings. I'm not even going to say that. It's just that this is my assessment of the situation. This is what I have assessed. I don't know the child 16. He's a minor and he committed a crime, right? I don't know anything about the family history. But what I can tell you is that I have seen situations where children that are violent with other siblings, younger or older, and they have had to get treatment for it. And what I mean by that, they've had to be put in residential centers or something like that, or require psychiatric care ongoing. Typically, when you have a situation like that in the family, what do? You consult with your psychiatrist, with your treatment team, to ensure that if we're going to go on a family vacation, that we get these violent tendencies on check and on lock. Because there's no way that, There should have been a safety plan. Makes you wonder, were other animals in the family hurt? Those are the kinds of things that you would look at, right? Other pets, other animals, and stuff like that, to figure out signs of like, if somebody's not safe around people, okay? And it happens, guys. It happens. It does happen. You will have family members that will do that, okay? Who was it? Was it Ted Bundy? It wasn't Ted Bundy. It was Jeffrey Dahmer. One of them, the serial killers, right? That like would hurt animals and they would get pleasure out of seeing an animal be gone. Okay? Those are the kinds of things that behaviorally you kind of track, right? Are you hurting animals as a child is a good indicator about what that looks like for you around other people and peers and family members. And if that is happening, you need to make sure that your treatment team understands, is my child safe to go on this vacation? Does my child need to be supervised all the time? Am I equipped? You don't leave a child like that unsupervised. You don't. Okay? That's how it is. I'm sorry. And we're going to dig into maybe a little bit more into that because I feel like it requires more than just a quick little 10-minute conversation. Okay. We're going to follow up on that case for sure. You said this has been such a bad season of loss for children and teens. Absolutely, Gold Digger. I would have to say absolutely. Absolutely. That's right. There's nothing wrong. And then also please keep in mind that these are half siblings. They didn't grow up with each other. So that's another dynamic. Sometimes some of these siblings don't grow up with each other. So you're inviting different elements to that. If I just get with somebody, not even a year or two married, and I just met them and I haven't engaged with those children several Christmases, I don't know who's the other parent. These are the kinds of things like for me would be like, let me make sure I get along, or at least I'm cordial with the mother of these kids because we're about to be blended, right? So we need to make sure that we are blending and understanding each other's boundaries and rules and dynamics and rules and stuff like that. It takes a lot of work. If you are going to be joining a family and it's going to be a blended family, your kids and their kids, please make sure you do right by the situation, get to know them, have several outings before you decide to just take a cruise and not even, understand what this looks like. And you're going to save money because y'all are sleeping in one room together. No, Linda, no. We got to do better. We have to do better. Okay. I have an active restraining order against my stepbrother, and I can attest how scary it can get sometimes. Yeah. You got to be careful. You do. Stepbrothers, step siblings, stepsisters. You have to be careful. Okay. Let's get it together, guys, because we have to talk a little bit about Ashlee Buzzard. You guys know we've been following the Melodee Buzzard situation out of California. The young girl, 9 years old. Mom takes her across state lines. She was wearing a couple different wigs. There's concerns about her mental health. Different things have been said. She picked up some charges for basically, false imprisonment. I think that's what it's called, of a friend who happens to be a process server. Now, here's the crazy thing about this friend, right? I think his name is Tyler Brewster. Tyler has been threatening a couple bloggers. Like the guy's a process server. I think he works for like a paralegal office and whatnot. He's been threatening bloggers and whatnot. So he's been sending like allegedly been sending cease and desist. And a couple of those have been posted on Facebook. So that's interesting. I don't know why. I guess it's like if you're working with law enforcement, first of all, I'm not going to bug the man. Why am I going to bug? He has this friendship with Ashlee Buzzard, whatever that looks like. He had a really bad situation. He was stuck. Apparently, she might have been around a box cutter and was allegedly held against his will and couldn't leave. So he's like, I'm about to just, tell people to leave me alone on social media. So here's the deal. New developments. This is what Banfield dropped yesterday. Let's get into this.
If you have an ex in your life who you're not very fond of, or maybe you have an old friend who crossed you in a way that you never thought possible.
Ooh.
But there's a time-honored tradition of cutting their faces out of your favorite photos to help heal the wounds faster. And for some folks, that works. But leave it to Ashlee Buzzard in Lompoc, California to take that coping strategy and twist it into knots.
Ooh.
Ashlee is the mother of Melodee Buzzard, age 9, whose whereabouts and welfare have been a mystery for 41 days now. In that time, her mother, Ashlee, has stonewalled the police, had her home and her rental car and her storage unit raided by the feds, and has been charged with falsely imprisoning an acquaintance who tried to help search for Melodee. And I have an update on that case in just a minute. You won't believe.
But of course, not with the disappearance of her child. Okay, she has not been charged with any of that. None of that. 41 days, 42 days, I think, at this point, the last time anybody really saw Melodee. Okay.
Believe how she showed up for court this morning. I'm going to give you all of those details. You saw a snippet. I'll give you the rest. But I'll bet that you remember seeing the videos that we showed you a few weeks ago. Bewildering video of Ashlee ripping down her daughter's missing persons posters in the front yard. Remember those? Those were staked out in the front of her house. She's ripping them down for reasons that nobody can fathom.
Okay.
Until possibly now. A private investigator hired by Melodee's aunt just dropped a bombshell. He says a person who was inside Ashlee's home saw her cutting Melodee's face out of those posters. You heard me right.
We're cutting posters. We're cutting pictures. We're cutting her face off of these posters and pictures. I guess I need to know what you guys think.
What normal folks do to people they consider dead to them, Ashlee did to her own missing and endangered child. So does Ashlee Buzzard consider Melodee dead to her? Does she consider or know the child to be dead, period? The private investigator says not necessarily, and that is the weird and spooky part of this. Our Brian Enton has been on the streets of Lompoc, California, and spoke exclusively with that private investigator, and here's what he told Brian.
So the posters had photographs of Melodee. They didn't take up the entire poster, but they were snapshots that were projected onto the posters. So I understand that she had cut these photographs off of the poster.
So she cut Melodee out of the missing poster?
Out of several of the missing posters.
And why would she do that?
Not sure, but what she did with them is she placed them on a table in her home. To me, it represents an altar. Not saying that she's deceased, but it's something that she can have some memory of. And that's what I picked up from that.
You're going to hear more from that private investigator in just a moment. He was...
What was the date of that? When did she do that? Okay. Well, and the reason I ask, and I'm not saying that, because he said it represented an altar. When I think of altar, right, and because some of us have had it, right, for Dia de los Muertos, but I would say that this is even, we're outside of that time frame though for Dia de los Muertos. That's what I think when I think of altar, right? Like Dia de los Muertos. Sometimes we have like, pictures of our relatives that have passed away, and people will do like things like that. Okay.
Hired by the sister of Melodee's late father. But first, Ashlee had quite a court appearance this morning. And it's a good thing that we had cameras there, because you wouldn't have believed it. It was very, very brief, but she appeared on that false imprisonment charge that she was slapped with 2 weeks ago.
Girl, she really made her like, oh man, you are not gonna, like last time she had the very short little hair that she got, that's fine with but she went all out. She even darkened the eyebrows. I could see it over here. She got the wing too. Her wing is winging. It really is. Okay.
Ago. Her long and curly wig was back, but this time pulled into that ponytail. And also this time, Ashlee Buzzard came to court dolled up to the nines in full makeup. And when I say full, I mean brimming over. She had a ton of makeup on her face.
Ashlee's like, Ashlee, you could tell Ashlee is really triggered, but which I get it. I get where she's coming from, believe it or not. Yes, we have a Day of the Dead. Yes. El Dia de los Muertos. There's like I wouldn't say necessarily it's an altar, but it's kind of like a table where you put all of like the pictures of your deceased relatives and, like little memories and stuff like that. And sometimes people will bring, like, they'll go visit the graves. They'll go clean them up, and leave food in there. There's a belief that, y'all ever watch Coco? Come on now. Tell me you guys watch Coco. I love that movie because it was really well done. Coco's kind of like it, right? Like they come back and, you know, they're coming in there and they're taking their food and, you know, they're feasting and it's just honoring their memory. It's a really cute way to honor the memory, right? But it's not like we're putting everything in altars. It kind of looks like that, but it's not really that. But it's literally like a 1 or 2 day celebration type of deal. If you have not watched Coco, go watch it. It's cute. That's why.
I can't explain it because last time she had none. She was unrecognizable. Our Brian Enton was able to catch up with her as she left the courthouse. Here's the longer clip of what you just saw a snip of.
Ashlee, can you tell us where Melodee is? Why aren't you saying anything to law enforcement, Ashlee?
Ooh.
Why have you just stayed quiet when your daughter's missing? It doesn't make any sense. Why did you cut her pictures out on the posters? Everyone just wants to know where Melodee is. Everybody just wants to know. You guys back up away from the car, please.
Ashlee Buzzard's charge stemmed from an accusation that she threatened a friend of hers with a box cutter after she allegedly told him about Melodee's whereabouts and presumably regretted doing so. They are both set to be in court tomorrow for a preliminary hearing. Ooh. So yeah, we're going to be there. And in the meantime, Brian Enton is live outside of Ashlee's house with all.
Shout out to Brian Enton.
All of his new reporting. First of all, Brian, great work in posing those questions to her because you might be the very first person who has done so that at least we have been able to hear. Yep. Whether police have been stonewalled by her, it's all under wraps. But that was just amazing to see her doing the same thing to us that presumably she's been doing to the police.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our new.
All right, shut up. Shut up, Cuomo. I always say that. Yeah, so here's my question to you guys. Does the lady have to tell people where her child is? And there's people out there that are basically her advocates. They're saying she doesn't have to produce where her child is. She doesn't have to tell people where her child is. I'm like, there's clearly a concern that people have, and I rightfully so. I don't know how why doesn't she? What is the big deal? If she's fine, she's fine. Is she alive? That's the question that I have. And clearly somebody's keeping her child unless Melodee is no longer here, right? Somebody's keeping her child unless Melodee is no longer here. Now, I'm having a hard time with this because she literally traveled across state lines on a rented car. I'm sure that they probably DNA'd and swabbed that car and did all kinds of forensics to that car. Did they find any blood in there? I'm wondering if something happened there, right? Or did she do something to her in a different area? Or is somebody keeping her? Who is keeping this child? And to me, the simple fact that we have no footage out there of her dropping her child somewhere. It's giving Lori Vallow. It's giving all of that. And I hope not. But you do have to kind of wonder, what's this all about? Her taking the pics down tells me that she can't bear to look at her face knowing what she did. Yeah. No, Adrian, I think the friend might have given information to law enforcement, but they're not giving information to social media. So it's the story is getting kind of weird at this point when it comes to that. For sure. Okay, we have to move on because then we're going to talk about the Karen Reed lawsuit. And we're going to do a little bit of commentary on this. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on the D4VD because we spent a lot of time on D4VD. And if anything drops, I'll definitely be doing a pre-recorded video. I also have a pre-recorded video coming in today on day 2-3 of Meg Thee Stallion and Milagro lawsuit and kind of everything that's been said between the last 2 days. Yeah, so let me get into this and then we're going to move right away to Karen Reed for the sake of time, guys.
About Celeste Rivas Hernandez and her rich and
famous. Hold up. I really like what Banfield said initially. Go ahead, Banfield.
Last night at this time, we were all over what seemed to be a coordinated leak from the LAPD about
a coordinated leak. I love that she says this because I agree. And I said this before. I said this looks like a very coordinated leak from LAPD to TMZ. Monday, guys, no homicide. There might be no charges, guys. Nothing. Tuesday, guys, there might be a homicide. And they're looking at this is what it looks like. Then Wednesday, guys, potentially they can't put it on paper, but this might be, it might not be, but might be a homicide. Here we are Thursday. Let's see what the news is going to look like today. Let's go.
Celeste Rivas Hernandez and her rich and famous and much older boyfriend, the singer known as David. While his stage name is spelled with a 4, his legal name is David Anthony Burke, plain and simple. The bombshell this week was that the LAPD sources say investigators now consider David a suspect, which might raise the question, what took him so long? Except that 2.5 months after Celeste's decomposing remains were found in David's Tesla, authorities still aren't saying how the young runaway died or whether anyone else had a hand in it.
Ooh.
TMZ, as often happens, was the first in line for that leak. And they say David may not be the only suspect on the investigators' radar.
Okay.
The outlet also reports that David made a quick and mysterious trip to a remote part of Santa Barbara County. That was back in the spring. He apparently set out in the middle of the night. Weird. TMZ says he returned to LA a few hours later. Then I spoke with TMZ's Harvey Levin about all of these new details. Here's our conversation.
All right.
Harvey, what are the sources in the LAPD suggesting when it comes to this case right now?
Harvey,
well, we're getting more than suggest.
Hold up. This is why I give Harvey a hard time. I don't know if this man sleeps. He don't look too well, y'all. I'm sorry, and I know y'all gonna be like mad at me. He does not look too well. Look at his face. When I say this, it's not because I'm making fun. It literally, he just doesn't look very well. I hope he's okay, but he does not look well.
Harvey, what are the sources in the LAPD suggesting when it comes to this case right now?
Well, we're getting more than suggesting. We know what's going on. So there is not an official cause of death yet because the medical examiner has not ruled, nor have the toxicology reports been given to LAPD.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is that the robbery homicide unit and the investigators looking at this case are viewing this as a homicide and viewing David, the singer, as the suspect.
Well, there's my next question. A suspect, because there was some intimation that was too difficult a job for one person to carry out. So are they thinking that there are more involved?
They believe there is more than one person involved in this based on the way and the manner in which the body was discovered, that it was cut up, and I don't know why, but they believe that it couldn't be the work of just one person.
Ooh. This weird trip to Santa Barbara County, apparently your sources have unearthed this. Walk me through what it was, when it was, how long it lasted, the whole story behind this trip.
So we are told that in the spring of this year, I can't give you a month, I'm just told the spring.
Wait, you said Harvey is 75 and he looks great for his age. He's really 75 years old? I had no idea he was 75. Okay, well, that is your opinion, and I respect your opinion about how you think that Harvey Levin looks great. I don't feel like he looks good. I have a hard, maybe he should retire. I don't know, man. But he has a hard time opening his eyes. That's what I noticed about him. I had no idea he was 75. But okay. All right.
David went to a remote area of Santa Barbara County, which is about 100 miles from where he lives in Los Angeles, a remote area of Santa Barbara County in the middle of the night, and spent a couple of hours there. And that is a hugely important part of this case, the way I understand it. And I don't want to be more specific, but based on all the things that are going on, that is a point that seemed to stand out when we got this story.
Wow.
That this Santa Barbara trip is very, very important. Now, what does the Santa Barbara trip mean? Remember, it's spring, and his body wasn't found until early September. So, her body, rather, early September. So we're talking months. So, you could theorize that maybe he went to try and bury a body. Maybe he would have gone to bury a weapon. But if it was a body, why was the body found in the trunk of his car in Los Angeles?
If that's what he did, and I keep going to this because I was thinking about this. I'm like, wait a minute. So he went to Santa Barbara County. Where exactly? I don't know. He goes back to unbury a body, and then the body would have already been badly decomposed then. And then he puts it in the trunk of his car, only to have his car parked there, or somebody does, only to have the car parked there for several days to the point that it's still. I guess I don't know. This is crazy.
Months and months later, would they have gone and picked it up and brought it back? Now, there are some people who are saying, well, wait a minute, maybe he took Celeste there and allegedly, did her in there. The reason I don't think that's the case is we were told David went to Santa Barbara County, not they went to Santa Barbara County. And, you know, it makes me think, how would they know David went? If it was just a cell phone, I don't think what they would say David went. I think what we would get is his cell phone pinged in that area. We got the word David. That makes me think there is video from his Tesla, and that they have gotten into the Tesla. We know they have data from the Tesla, and maybe there is video showing him there, that they could track it there and they could see him there. And I don't know what it is that he did there, and it may well be that the LAPD knows, but we don't know yet.
Well, and
something big happened during that trip.
do they know where he is? At this point, does anyone actually know where David is?
Well, I don't know if
Texas? I mean, that's what I would be if he's got nothing in California that we know of. Texas? Or maybe out of the country. Hell, nobody's arrested me yet. I'm going to Brazil where there is no extradition.
the LAPD knows. He was in LA. If he is still here, he is virtually in hiding because there are a lot of paparazzi agencies in LA. And, you know, that photograph is...
You know what I heard about Team Brittany? What I heard about the car was still in the impound. He never picked up the car. He left the car. So the car was never picked up back by David, even after the impound. Did he pick it up though, Flocho? Because I remember talking about the car, and what I heard was that he never picked it up. Did he actually pick up the car? I'm telling you, that was several weeks ago, and I remember talking about the car, and I remember specifically that he left the car to the impound. That apparently, what else were they going to do with it? Because he would have to pay those fines and fees, right? But think about it. Where would he put this car in if Celeste was in it? That's crazy. That's crazy.
Worth a lot to these agencies. So if he's spotted out, they're probably going to get a picture of him. And we haven't seen any of these agencies say, hey, we got a picture of David. So if he's here, he is underground. And
that would be the question to ask is, who has the car right now? If it was returned to David, did he get it? Did he get rid of it? Did somebody else have this car? Because it's out of police custody, which when we heard that, we were kind of like, really? Because you think they do a bunch of forensics and whatnot. No, the police released that car. Did he pick it up? Where's this car at?
And I think there's a good chance that maybe he went somewhere else where it's not going to be as, you know, where there aren't going to be these, you know, paparazzi agencies around. But we haven't seen him, and I don't know where he is. I know he was in LA. But that was weeks ago.
What do you think is about to happen? Do you think he's about to be in cuffs?
He knew he was in LA because of Blair Burke, right? Remember, Blair Burke is probably not very happy with Harvey Levin right now because, you know, my understanding is that they're friends, okay?
Well, we were told not in the near future. I don't know what near future means. One of the problems is the medical examiner has not determined cause of death, and they have not given toxicology to LAPD. Even if say the medical examiner comes back and says undetermined, the LAPD could still move forward, and my sense from our reporting is they would. But I'm told, and I don't know what the specifics here are, is that the relationship between the LA County Medical Examiner and the LAPD has not been great over the last few years. And even though they could fast...
And why does that, that matters in terms of if these two agencies can work together to figure out what happened here. Like, really? They can't put their beef aside? Even this is a thing here? I'm surprised this is even being exposed here. I'm sure both agencies aren't liking the fact that this man just revealed that, right? I don't know how I feel about this statement, but okay.
Track, if they wanted to, the medical examiner could fast track some of these the tests that they're doing. My sense is they have not done so because you know, it can take 3 months easy for something like this, but they could also fast track it. And based on our conversations, that does not seem to have been done, and it may speak to the relationship that LAPD has with the medical examiner. I don't know what's behind it, but that's what I was told.
Oh.
And my great thanks to Harvey Levin.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
Okay, be quiet, Cuomo. So now I'm kind of wondering about that car. Honestly, I really am. Because even Pinche Becky said in the chat, like, typically they're not supposed to release evidence until everything's done, right? Why? Pinche Becky said, why hasn't the LAPD taken possession of the car until well, they have the car. when they were, because the car was found in the body, excuse me, the body was found in the front of the car of the Tesla, right? Most evidence is not released until right after the case is taken to trial. Now, I remember I think it was the second week that we were reading on this, they had released the car. The car was out of police custody. What does that mean? Was it returned to David? Was it returned back to the impound? I'm going to have to look into that on a separate video, because now I want to know what's up with that. I have a lot of I'm curious. I'm curious about that. You said Cuomo, so they always play him. Harvey says it may a lot. Harvey says it may a lot. If police are done collecting evidence, they can release it back. I think they're literally just waiting. If you believe what Harvey Levin is saying, which is, I don't know if I believe everything. I'm just be honest with you. I think they're just saying things to just appease the situation, right? But I do believe, and one thing I do agree is that this feels like a very coordinated leak. I think that was the perfect word that Banfield used, because when we talked about this very early on, and I told you guys, I said, this is weird, guys. TMZ says the day before, no homicide, nothing's going to happen, this and that and the other. So in the following day, they're charging him. And the assertion, even though there's no paperwork yet, we don't have the criminal complaint yet or anything, I personally feel like it was a coordinated leak to apply pressure to D4VD, because what I think is happening is that they have a lot of circumstantial evidence. They might have had somebody in this group already confess and work with police to basically let them know what's happening. And now they're just waiting on David to say something. That's my theory. That's my theory. Yeah. Let's move on, guys. We got to talk about Karen Reed. Ooh. Karen Reed, man, she broke the internet yesterday, y'all. She did. She broke the internet yesterday. Did y'all know that she is suing everybody and their mother? Everybody and their mother. She's suing she's coming for their heads. That's what she's doing. She's coming for everybody. Okay. So there's a lot of people that probably don't know this case. And I have touched on it here and there. There is a whole community. There's a whole Karen Reed community that have really worked on trying, first of all, when the case first came on, you'd have to credit Turtle Boy. He has a YouTube channel because he brought a lot of attention. And then from Turtle Boy, it went on to other streamers in the Massachusetts area. One that I personally like, and y'all know that I love, is The Glare. He was the one that I think I have followed probably the most out of everybody, because I can only take doses, honestly, of Turtle Boy. No shade, but everybody's got the people that they can take and can't take. And for me, I could The Glare is The Glare, and I followed The Glare way before the Karen Reed case, so I kind of have a soft spot for The Glare. So Karen Reed has had 2 trials, one of which, my goodness, this was 2 years ago? My goodness. So she was initially charged with first-degree murder and manslaughter for allegedly hitting her boyfriend at the time with an SUV who was a Boston cop, okay? And her defense came strong and basically argued that this was a cover-up. There was a mistrial in the first trial that took on like summer months, what felt like in 2024. Yeah, it was last year. And then she was retried again this year, and she was basically acquitted of everything. Okay. So she comes back with the vengeance and basically is like, I'm taking everybody's head out. Not literally, but that's what she's doing, right? She was charged, wrongfully, and there's a lot of controversy. There's people that feel like the people got it wrong as far as her conviction. Personally, I feel like if you guys went for it twice and she was finally acquitted, then the lady was acquitted. It is what it is. She was wrongfully charged initially, and she's got every right to sue. I mean, hell, I would sue if I was wrongfully charged for something that I did not do. Okay. So the Boston police, the way they collected the evidence was just crazy work. It wasn't very well done. There's little pieces, moving pieces to this case that is like, did y'all cover? Did you guys murder this Boston officer and then covered it up and then somehow framed this woman? There's just so much to this, and you'd have to kind of start from day one to kind of get it. And that's what it is. For me, it's like I covered it here and there, and then it's an intense case. I mean, the supporters are very intense. Shout out to the supporters, okay? But Karen went on trial. And now she's kind of like, I'm here, I've been acquitted, and I'm about to come for these people. So in her lawsuit, she basically says that John O'Keefe died because of an altercation at a house party, okay? Not by being hit by a car. His body, actually, in a lot of things, it almost looked like he was bit by a dog. They got rid of the dog. It was just crazy work. Karen Reed is accusing several house defendants, several of the people there, the people that were at the party, basically they conspired and they covered up the murder of this officer, okay? She is alleging major misconduct by the Massachusetts State Police, investigators specifically. She says that they ignored and destroyed evidence and did not properly investigate the scene. She says that they manipulated phone evidence and planted evidence like car parts to implicate Karen Reed. So her lawsuit is essentially outlining malicious prosecution and civil rights violations, okay? In short, the very, very short of this lawsuit is that she is suing for gross misconduct, a conspiracy to frame her, okay? Violations of her civil rights by both law enforcement and other people present that night. So, yeah, that's what she has done. You said Proctor. Yeah, some of these names are crazy. So I'm going to try to get through this as much as I can. I can't guarantee that I'll finish the whole thing because I have Baby Bunny and whatnot that I got to pick up in a little bit. But we're going to get into this. So this was filed on the 17th, about 2 days ago. And she is Karen Reed, and she is going after Michael Proctor. And I can never say this guy's name. I think his name is Burkenican. I'm sure. How do you pronounce? I'm sure people have looked this up. Burkenican. Anyways, I wouldn't know how to say it. Anyway, so this person is like an officer as well. Hold up. In his personal capacity, Brian Tilley, another person that she's suing, Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Jennifer McCabe, Matthew McCabe, and Brian Higgins. So the complaint goes, for 3.5 years, plaintiff Karen Reed was wrongfully accused of homicide, subjected to suspicion, arrest, 2 prosecutions, and public condemnation, all resulting in the gross misconduct of the Massachusetts State Police, the MSP, and those working in tandem with the MSP. To shield from liability the party or parties responsible for the death of Boston police officer Jonathan O'Keefe III. Okay. Now, after being acquitted of all charges related to Mr. O'Keefe's death, Ms. Reed brings this action to recover for and address the actions of those actually involved in Mr. O'Keefe's death and the law enforcement officers who objectively failed to ensure that justice was sought and served in the aftermath of January 29, 2022. Damn, it's been that long. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's been that long. Buchanan. Thank you. I think that's how you say it. There's like a Boston thing, right? Buchanan, right? Buchanan. Thank you for correcting me. Buchanan. I was saying so. I guess it's like weird pronunciation. Thank you. Buchanan. Is that cool? Crow-eyed, D. Marie, let me know. Did I say it correctly? Okay, I think Buchanan. Thank you. Bocanic or Buchanan? Bocanic. All right. Let's keep going. Shout out to everybody. So, Karen did not kill her then boyfriend, Mr. O'Keefe. Rather, in the early mornings of January 29, Mr. O'Keefe was killed in defendants Brian and Nicole Albert's home at 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Canton, an altercation during a late night house party with other defendants, collectively the house defendants. After a night of heavy drinking, the house defendants responsible for Mr. O'Keefe's death, for some of whom had professional experience with police investigations, concocted a plan to immediately after the altercation to avoid culpability and to frame Karen Reed. Rather than call first responders for help, among other actions, the House defendants conducted a Google search for information about how long to die in the cold on Google. Move Mr. O'Keefe's body outside, place them on the Albert's front lawn near the road to make it look like Mr. O'Keefe was hit by a vehicle and then he died in the snow without ever coming into the house that night. Mr. O'Keefe's body remained on the Albert's lawn until Karen Reed found him later in the morning. Now, is it Bocakin? All right. Well, you guys might have to help me pronounce it again. Thank you, G. Thank you. You might have to help me pronounce it again, y'all, because the weird spelling. Can I just say something? I don't know Karen Reed personally. Of course, I've seen various interviews of her. Okay. She was acquitted. Okay. She's not afraid of what discovery is going to look like, right? She even having faced all these things that she faced, the first trial, the mistrial, this second trial, the being acquitted, facing all the scrutiny and everything that people have said, right? She's not afraid to go to trial again and to bring this up again, right? Like she's not worried or scared. She wants to ensure, and I'm assuming because I would probably be doing the same, that people understand how framed I was and how innocent I was. So much so that I'm about to come for everybody civilly. I think that speaks to, where she's, I would do the same. If I didn't do anything and then I had to, spend all the money that I had to spend, I still have to recoup everything. This is money too. And if the framing happened, right, because she was acquitted, if they can do this to her, it makes you wonder how many other people they've done this to, right? And they've gotten away with it. Buchanan. Thank you, Pixie. Plus, we have text messages directly from Proctor saying that they were going to pin it on the girl. She's over 5 million in the hole. Girl, that's crazy. That's crazy. It further goes. From the beginning, investigators from the MSP allowed the House defendants to direct the investigation away from themselves and towards Ms. Reed. The House defendants were well-connected and close social groups with strong ties to law enforcement. The Alberts are prominent family in Canton, and the investigating police officers knew them well. The lead investigators for MSP, Michael Proctor, grew up in Canton and resides there to this day. He has been and remains close personal friends with the Alberts. House defendant Brian Albert was a longtime Boston Police Department officer, and House defendant Brian Higgins was an agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the ATF. Adhering to the unwritten rule of protecting their own, Proctor and his MSP colleagues intentionally disregarded the obvious and compelling evidence tying the House defendants to Mr. O'Keefe's murder. Specifically, Mr. O'Keefe's injuries were consistent with the physical altercation. Yeah, I would say so. He had bruises and lacerations to his face and deep gashes to the back of his head, suggesting that he was punched and fell backwards, hitting his head on a ridge surface. He also has dog bite wounds and scratches on his arms and forearms. Equally evident, Mr. O'Keefe did not have a single injury consistent with being struck by a vehicle. He did not have any broken bones or even a bruise on his leg, feet, arms, shoulders, torso, back, ribs, anywhere below his neck that a medical examiner would otherwise expect to find on a person struck and killed by impact from a 3-ton vehicle. And to erase any doubt, the Commonwealth's own medical examiner, the pathologist who conducted the autopsy for the Commonwealth, concluded that Mr. O'Keefe's body showed no signs of a vehicular strike. Despite that, Proctor and others shield the House defendants by intentionally sidestepping fundamental investigatory procedures. Propelled by the House defendants' false statements, including that Mr. O'Keefe never went into the house, Proctor reported in text messages just hours into the investigation that the House defendants weren't going to get any shit for this because Brian Albert, a Boston cop, and the Proctor was determined to make the investigation cut and dry by bringing charges against the girl. Indeed, Proctor made his intentions clear in writing. Karen Reed had zero chance of skating. She's fucked. This pronouncement was a mere 16 hours after Mr. O'Keefe's body was discovered on the Alberts lawn, and Proctor had not even walked into the house. True to his promise, Proctor and his colleagues did not search the house for blood evidence resulting from the gash to the back of Mr. O'Keefe's head, or for fingerprints, or for DNA evidence. Proctor did not search the house despite the fact that Mr. O'Keefe was discovered without a winter coat, without the hat that several witnesses said he had been wearing that night, and without his left shoe. At Proctor's direction, the house was never processed by a criminalist or even photographed. No member of the MSP, including Proctor, set foot inside 34 Fairview for nearly a week. Why? That is the question. Why? Why? The police did not examine or take evidence from the Alberts German Shepherd that was in the house on January 29th, a dog that had a history of attacking other dogs and people. Neither Proctor nor any of the MSP troopers conducted physical examinations of the House defendants for evidence of involvement in the altercation, such as marks on their hands, knuckles, or faces, or bruises on their bodies. They did not cease or search the House defendants' phones. They conducted only perfunctory, unrecorded conversations with Proctor's friends and acquaintances without any proper attempt to corroborate their stories. They permitted would-be witnesses to communicate with each other and coordinate their stories before any formal interviews. They allowed criminal evidence to be manipulated in other instances and outright destroyed in others. In short, by focusing the investigation solely on Miss Reed, on implicity directed by the House defendants through the misrepresentations they made to the police, Proctor and his colleagues disregarded and failed to obtain pertinent interviews and other critical evidence from the House defendants that cannot now be recovered or recreated. Proctor also secretly communicated with the Alberts on his personal phone, deliberately back-channeling those communications to circumvent his state-issue device and use his sister as a conduit. For instance, on multiple occasions, Proctor disclosed critical and confidential information about the investigation to his sister, who passed that information to her close friend, Julie Albert, Brian Albert, sister-in-law. Julie Albert then passed that same information on to the rest of the family and the House defendants. Part of this communication included Julie Albert's promise to buy Proctor a thank you gift for handling this investigation in a manner that intentionally avoided implicating the House defendants and singularly focused on Miss Reed. Damn, let me see. Number 9. See how much more. Okay, we'll probably stop at parties because that will probably be around the time. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. Thoughts and opinions, let me know. And testify on the video, not to mention the video that was inverted when specifically asked questions about the left and right side of the vehicle all the way. Woo! But I'm like hot on this case. These dumbasses couldn't even remember to put their shoes on, says First Liberties. Oh my God, y'all are crazy. Proctor texts, are you going to be Al's downfall? You said this girl was set up, I'm sure. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, Tiff, it seems like the girl's got, how they would say in Spanish, huevos. The girl's got some huevos, some balls. She said, not only am I going to be acquitted from all of this, but I'm coming for everybody who set me up. And like I said, clearly she's not worried or afraid that all of this is going to get exposed in discovery. And they're going to have to paint this in the civil case so that people are aware of how this setup happened. And if this can happen to her, it can happen to anybody, right? People get set up all the time. So yeah. And like I said, people have their opinions, whether you believe them or not. I'm just saying, the girl went to trial once, mistrial. Second time, acquitted. Like, what else do we need? You have to be able to, at some point in certain cases, understand that the judicial system may not always work, but two times, she was acquitted the second time. Okay, let's keep going. Proctor then went so far as to manufacture evidence to ensure that Miss Reed, not his friends and fellow law enforcement officers, were blamed for Mr. O'Keefe's death. This including planting evidence at the scene on Mr. O'Keefe's clothes and on Miss Reed's vehicle to support the false narrative that Miss Reed hit Mr. O'Keefe with her car, even though he knew Mr. O'Keefe's injuries were inconsistent with the motor vehicle strike and inconsistent with physical altercation and dog attack. Far from conducting an objective investigation with integrity, Proctor personally sexualized and dehumanized Miss Reed throughout the investigation. Specifically, Proctor private communication to his high school buddies, sister, MSP colleagues that he believed would never be discovered, exposed the corruption and bias at the core of the MSP's entire investigation. Specifically, only hours into the investigation, in a text change with 8 of his high school buddies, Proctor stated that Miss Reed is a whack job C word, an R word, and a nutbag, and a babe with no ass. Proctor further ridiculed and derided Miss Reed for her serious medical condition, stating that her balloon knot leaked poo. In other private text messages to his MSP supervisors and colleagues, Proctor bragged that while conducting a search of Miss Reed's phone, he was looking for her nudie pictures of Miss Reed. Disappointed, he reported that there's no new pictures so far. In unfiltered utterance, Proctor revealed his true mindset. Hopefully she Ks herself. This is a direct quote. Indeed, Proctor's supervisor and the MSP knew about the conduct MSP knew about and condoned Proctor's unlawful conduct, and in some instances expressly encouraged his flagrant abuse of power. For example, on one session, Proctor immediate supervisor, okay, how do you say the last name again? Yuri, what now? Booty hole, what now? Sorry, y'all, I really do not mean to disrespect the last name. Buchanan. How do you say the last name again? Y'all put it in the chat, hurry up. Please and thank you. So the supervisor, we should have just called him Yuri. Yuri Buchanan. Thank you. Yuri Buchanan responded. I'm gonna call him Yuri. Responded with a thumbs up emoji to a text calling Miss Reed the R word. Proctor's supervisor and the MSP knew Proctor had a close relationship with the Alberts, that he knew no secret of his bias against Miss Reed, demonstrated a clear prejudice against her from the onset. Relying on manufactured evidence, actively ignoring exculpatory evidence, and without investigating obvious signs pointing towards the House defendants, the Commonwealth secured 2 separate arrest warrants. See my time. Okay, I got a couple minutes. for Miss Reed and knowingly baseless indictment against her, and then wrongfully prosecuted her for the murder twice. As alleged below, these unlawful acts not only underlie plaintiff's meritless wrongful death claims against Miss Reed, but they also form the foundation for Miss Reed's claims against the defendants. These acts violated Miss Reed's state and federal constitutional rights, the Massachusetts Civil Rights Act, and well-established Massachusetts tort principles. On June 8th, 2025, after a 2-month trial, a jury rejected the Commonwealth's theory, in part because the overwhelming physical and scientific and medical evidence established that Ms. Reed's vehicle did not strike Mr. O'Keefe, and that Mr. O'Keefe's injury did not come from a vehicle strike. Although Ms. Reed was ultimately and finally acquitted of all charges related to the death of Mr. O'Keefe, Proctor was fired. And he was fired. And nearly every MSP officer in Proctor's chain of command was disciplined for their egregious abuse and misdeeds. And the Commonwealth still has not sought or proved justice, not to the O'Keefe family, not to the community at large, and certainly not to Miss Reed. Ooh wee, man. Oh my goodness. So they punished them for the misdeed. They should have fired every motherfucker in that. The supervisor too. Just saying. In response, the Commonwealth has offered only empty plateaus instead of solutions. The head of the MSP, Jeffrey Noble, stated, "The events of the last 3 years have challenged our department to thoroughly review our actions and take concerted steps to deliver and advance investigative trainings, ensure proper oversight, and enhance accountability. Under my direct as a colonel, the state police has and will continue to improve in these regards." In an interview with the Boston Herald, Noble acknowledged the systematic nature of the MSP's conduct in Ms. Reed's case. "I'm eyes wide open to the culture issue that I have concerns with as it relates to Trooper Proctor. These hollow words do nothing to right the devastating wrongs that have been visited on Ms. Reed." Noble's words confess a sickness deep in the marrow of the MSP, but offer no remedy, no medicine, no relief to someone so brutally victimized by it. On Wednesday, March 19, 2025, following the public disclosure of Proctor's illegal and unethical conduct related to the Reed investigation, the MSP's trial board found Michael Proctor guilty of a Class A violation, which includes that he was biased in his dealings with a homicide suspect and or brought otherwise himself and the Massachusetts State Police into desperate. Hold up, y'all. I missed this word. I want to make sure I say it correctly. Lord have mercy. They were the proctor. Disrepute. Thank you. I was like, let me make sure I say it correctly, y'all. Disrepute. Oh my goodness, man. Miss Reed's life was not merely turned upside down by the MSP's attitude and the House defendant's misconduct. It was forever changed by the defendant's transgressions and wrongdoing. The years of uncertainty and unimaginable emotional distress have left lasting scars that will never heal. At the same time, neither Mr. O'Keefe nor his family has received justice. His killer or killers still walk free. By asserting her claims against MSP Proctor, his supervisor, the town of Canton, and the House defendants, Miss Reed seeks, at a minimum, to confront the redressness of these wrongs and others. More importantly, she seeks to enforce the Commonwealth to fulfill its duties to stop law enforcement from trampling the innocent and to protect their own. Lord have mercy. I'm gonna stop right there. Look at all these. See, she came for one. Hold up. Who's she coming for? No, these are the plaintiffs. Okay. These are the plaintiffs, but she is going after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 individuals. We'll have to read the facts of that complaint in a later video. You think he'll be? How come he wasn't let go? He was the supervisor. That's what I don't get. Why wasn't he let go? He's like the whole supervisor. I'm confusional by that, honestly. I am. Brian, well, we haven't even read the factual part. We just read the first paragraph, but I have to stop right there because it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. If she takes a plea over, if she doesn't, it'll be bunny. But I'm gonna cut this part into a shorter video. Y'all, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I have to go, but I will see you guys later on. Okay, bye, guys, and thank you for those that supported the channel. Thank you, guys.